Where will be the best place to put your savings in Ireland in 2024? That is the question that we'll be answering today. The reason why I'm making this video now is because recently the European Central Bank, for the first time in 15 months, decided to pause their interest rate hikes for the euro area. Since July 2022, the ECB deposit facility, which tends to dictate the savings rates offered by banks in Europe, has increased from negative 0.5% to 4%. As a result, interest rates on savings accounts across Europe have increased significantly. This means that Irish savers should, in theory, be earning a good rate of interest on their savings. Unfortunately, this isn't always the case, and the reason why is because most Irish savers are keeping their money with AIB, Bank of Ireland, or PTSB. That is a mistake. You see, not only have these banks been slow to increase deposit rates for savers, but all of their savings account options are totally outclassed by the alternatives that are offered by institutions elsewhere. Why? Because the alternatives to Irish banks not only offer better rates, but also far fewer caveats, making them simplistic and highly competitive savings options. In my opinion, there is no good reason why any Irish saver should be actively choosing to save money with AIB, Bank of Ireland, or PTSB. The last time I made a video about the best savings accounts for Irish savers was in March 2023, and by now that video is outdated, simply because ECB rates have risen since then, bringing interest rates on savings accounts with them. As a result, the savings account landscape has changed quite significantly since that last video. But now that the ECB has paused its rate hikes, and given that the market is betting that the ECB will be the first central bank to cut rates, now seems like the optimal time to make a video talking about savings accounts. Because if we are indeed at the peak of ECB rates, then it will very likely only get worse from here in terms of savings account interest rates. So the goal of this video is to show you the best accounts for saving money in Ireland for 2024 and how best to use them. The best all-round savings account option for Irish savers right now, in my opinion, is Trade Republic. Trade Republic is a German investment firm based in Berlin who is operating in Ireland as well as 16 other countries across the Eurozone. One of the reasons why Trade Republic is the best all-round option for Irish savers is because they offer 4% interest on uninvested cash deposits. That is a better rate than any of the rates offered by AIB, Bank of Ireland, and PTSB. But that's not all. The money you deposit with Trade Republic is accessible at any time, with standard bank transfers between your bank account and your Trade Republic account typically taking between 1 and 3 days to process. So you don't have to commit to locking away your cash for a specified period of time in order to avail of the 4% interest rate. You just deposit your cash with no commitment and start earning 4% interest. Trade Republic pays out interest on a monthly basis, which means that should you choose to keep your interest payments deposited with Trade Republic, you can earn more interest on not only your deposited cash, but also on the interest that you've already earned. This is the basic premise of compound interest, i.e. earning interest on interest. Now, whenever it comes to any institution that isn't AIB, Bank of Ireland, or PTSB, most Irish people are concerned about safety, and most of the time, this is largely because they don't understand how European financial institutions are regulated. Don't get me wrong, it's always good to question safety when it comes to your money. However, that doesn't mean that you should outright dismiss an institution just because you're not familiar with it. That's just financial ignorance. Trade Republic is regulated by BaFin, the financial regulatory authority in Germany. Not only is your money perfectly safe with Trade Republic, but it's also 100% protected in the highly unlikely event that Trade Republic's partner banks become insolvent. You see, Trade Republic isn't a bank, it's a broker. So in order to be able to receive customer deposits, Trade Republic partners with banks such as Solaris, Citibank, JP Morgan, and Deutsche Bank to hold your money, some of the most renowned banks in the world. These banks make the 4% interest rate possible for Trade Republic customers, and they keep your cash safe until such a time that that you wish to withdraw. Crucially, Trade Republic's partner banks are subject to the deposit guarantee scheme as per EU legislation, the same scheme which applies to AIB, Bank of Ireland and PTSB. Under this scheme, bank deposits are protected up to the value of €100,000 per depositor per financial institution. Now here's the beautiful part. Trade Republic only offers 4% interest on cash deposits up to €50,000. Any excess over €50,000 won't be eligible for 4% interest. So because you're only going to be depositing a maximum of €50,000 to your Trade Republic account, your savings are 100% guaranteed to be protected, given that the account itself is protected up to 100 grand under the deposit guarantee scheme. Put simply, you can deposit €50,000 with Trade Republic, earn 4% interest with instant access to your money and literally zero risk. Deposits held via Trade Republic are just as safe as deposits held with the likes of AIB, Bank of Ireland or PTSB. What's more, setting up an account with Trade Republic is both free and fast, and there are no fees or charges associated with making deposits and withdrawals to and from your Trade Republic account. There is a 0.7% fee if you deposit money via debit card, credit card, Apple Pay or Google Pay, but if you just stick to traditional bank transfers, you'll avoid this fee altogether. The only downside to Trade Republic is the fact that it's a variable rate account. The interest rate that you earn is very much predicated on the ECB deposit facility. The rate isn't guaranteed to be 4% forever, and it can increase and decrease depending on what's viable for Trade Republic and their partner banks at any given point in time. However, that's less of a downside as it is a characteristic of variable rate accounts. And even if the rate did fall, based on what we've seen from Irish banks in the past, it's likely that the Trade Republic rate would still remain above what's on offer by AIB, Bank of Ireland and PTSB. The best way to utilize this account, in my opinion, is to simply deposit both your lump sum and recurring savings below €50,000 into Trade Republic and earn 4% interest. Simple as that. So if after watching this video you want to open a Trade Republic account, you can do so using the first link in the description of this video. Using that link as opposed to downloading in the App Store supports me as a creator and lets me know that you found this video to be useful. The best savings account option for Irish savers in terms of the actual interest rate on offer is Raisin Bank. Raisin Bank acts as an intermediary between Irish savers and the banks with whom Raisin is partnered. Irish savers can use Raisin Bank to make deposits with up to 9 European banks. Each of these banks offer different savings accounts with different terms and conditions. For example, the savings account with the highest interest rate on Raisin is currently offered by Banco Português de Gasto at 4.25%. However, unlike Trade Republic, which is an instant access variable rate account, the accounts offered on Raisin are fixed term accounts, meaning your cash is locked up for a specified period of time in return for a fixed rate of interest. That doesn't make it a bad option. It just requires a little more thought before depositing. In fact, in the context of where we're at with ECB interest rates, this may very well be the best option going forward for Irish savers. As we mentioned, the interest rate offered by Trade Republic is a variable interest rate, so it can change over time. However, given that the accounts on Raisin are fixed term accounts, you're guaranteeing yourself a fixed rate of interest for a specified period of time, even if ECB rates subsequently fall, which is what the market is betting on. So if you knew with certainty that you didn't need your savings for 12 months, you could get yourself a guaranteed 4.25% rate with Banco Português de Gasto. If it was 24 or 36 months, you could lock in a 4% plus interest rate with United for the duration of that period. If the ECB does indeed cut rates in the near future, you could very well have made a wise decision. But as is made clear in the product information sheet of these products, your deposit isn't available to be withdrawn during the fixed period. So you're committing to your cash being locked up, and that's the key consideration to take on board. There's also minimum investment amounts to consider. For the Banco Português de Gasto account, the minimum investment amount is €20,000, with the maximum investment amount being 100 grand. Minimum investment amounts on Raisin can be as low as €1. However, some of the most competitive options currently require deposits of at least 2 grand. For that reason, reason, Raisin Bank, in my opinion, is best suited to those who have a lump sum sitting in a bank account that isn't likely to be required for a known period of time. Like Trade Republic, all of the accounts that are available on Raisin are protected under the deposit guarantee scheme. Therefore, your deposits will be protected up to the value of 100 grand for each bank that you choose to deposit with via Raisin. Again, making Raisin Bank as safe as AIB, Bank of Ireland and PTSB. There are also no fees and charges for Irish savers who choose to use Raisin Bank. So if you do want to get started saving with Raisin Bank, you can do so by clicking the second link in the video description. The final savings option worth considering as an Irish saver is Lightyear. Lightyear is an Estonian-based investment firm operating in Ireland, the UK, and 20 other countries across the EU. Lightyear offers a multi-currency account to Irish savers where you can hold Euro, GBP, and USD cash balances. This means that it's possible to avail of 3 different interest rates depending on the currencies that you hold. As of recording, uninvested cash balances denominated in Euro will earn you 3.25% interest, while both GBP and USD cash balances will earn you 4.5% interest. But before anyone asks, no, choosing the 4.5% rate won't always result in the best outcome, largely due to currency conversion charges and taxes. Like Trade Republic, the interest that you earn from Lightyear is not fixed, and it can increase or decrease depending on the interest rates which are set by the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, and the US Federal Reserve. While it is free to open an account, relevant Lightyear fees to consider include a currency conversion charge of 0.35%. This would be applicable in situations where you're converting Euro cash balances in your account to GBP or USD in order to avail of the other interest rates on offer. There's also a 0.5% fast deposit transfer fee when topping up via card transactions, Apple Pay, and Google Pay. But again, this can be avoided by sticking with traditional bank transfers. The important difference between Lightyear and Trade Republic is that with Lightyear, while your cash is held with trusted banks, it's not covered by the deposit guarantee scheme. So in the highly unlikely event of the partner bank's failure and a loss of deposits, Lightyear customers would have a claim against Lightyear for the money deposited, and in the event of non-payment, the Estonian Investor Protection Sectoral Fund would provide protection up to 20,000 euro. But do remember that these are highly regulated financial institutions, and the chances of anything going wrong are slim but never zero. The best way to use Lightyear, in my opinion, is to use it as an overflow account, in the sense that if you want to avail of an instant access, high interest yielding account, but you've already deposited 50,000 euro with Trade Republic, then you can deposit the excess with Lightyear. Plus, Lightyear has no maximum amount that's eligible for deposit interest, giving you more flexibility. So if you do want to try out Lightyear for yourself, you can do so using the third link in the video description. I was going to include an analysis of all of the savings accounts that are offered by AIB, Bank of Ireland, and PTSB. Not to recommend them, but to highlight exactly why they're not worthwhile. But frankly, it just comes down to deposit rates not being good enough and the caveats attached to the accounts being too cumbersome. There isn't a single account offered by these banks that is objectively superior to Trade Republic, Raisin Bank, or Lightyear, and for that reason, I don't feel the need to cover them. But to summarize my thoughts on how Irish savers should be approaching the act of saving in 2024 based on the rates currently on offer, if you have a large lump sum at your disposal that you know you won't need for anywhere between 1 to 3 years, then locking in a 4% plus interest rate with Raisin Bank today could be a very wise decision. Reason being, if ECB rates do fall in the near future, we could see deposit rates fall as well. But that wouldn't affect you if you locked in a fixed term rate with Raisin, so you're guaranteeing yourself the rate no matter what happens. However, if you don't have the luxury of knowing for certain that you won't require your savings for the next 12 months, or if you're slowly building up your savings month by month, then an instant access account like Trade Republic would be a better play for you. One idea would be to utilize Trade Republic until 50,000 euro is saved, after which point Lightyear would then be utilized. But remember, you can use all 3 of these accounts in conjunction with one another, and there's no harm in spreading your cash out between all 3. Maybe you have 50 grand at your disposal. You know you won't need 25 grand for 12 months, but you aren't sure about the remaining 25 grand. Why not that deposit 25 grand with Raisin, locking in a fixed rate, and 25 grand with Trade Republic. This is the savings mentality that you need to be in, trying to be as optimal as possible with your savings. But whatever you choose to do, please don't leave your cash sitting idle in an Irish bank account earning next to nothing. It will do you absolutely no favors whatsoever. As a final note, all of the interest rates that have been discussed in this video are the gross interest rates, i.e. the rates before tax. Where you receive interest that hasn't suffered deposit interest retention tax or DIRT at source, then you'll need to declare the interest that you receive on your tax return and pay revenue the tax owed. Please don't let this deter you from getting the best bang for your buck. It's very easy to declare the interest that you've received on your My Account profile and to pay the necessary tax. So with that being said, let me know if there's any questions on anything that has been covered in this video. Thanks very much for watching and happy saving.